Hello, my name is Peggy Farmer, and I'm just doing this for Lawless America. Hamilton County Domestic Relations Court of Cincinnati, via referee Kathy King, found me in contempt of court for refusal of visitation for 10 of over 400 days of visitation, even though I had canceled checks for supervisors, letters for supervisors, and other proof that I never refused visitation. This was due to both personal and legal bias by the referee. Judge Deborah Gaines rubber-stamped the referee's report without taking testimony. I filed an appeal which was never heard because I needed to leave the States for the safety of my daughter. Judge Gaines transferred the case to Hamilton County Juvenile Court of Cincinnati, where testimony again was never heard, and the court was trying to declare me an unfit parent. A social worker who observed all of the family dynamics for 3 full days was fired for defending my parental abilities. I finally left the States during a break in the juvenile court hearings to let my daughter, Bethany Farmer Bailey, have a semblance of a childhood. I had full custody at the time. During my absence, my ex-husband, Bill Bailey Jr., continued court proceedings in which the court declared that I am mentally deficient and therefore could not be represented by an attorney who was hired by my parents through power of attorney. This left me unrepresented because the judge said the power of attorney was invalid. My mother signed a return receipt letter to attend court on the day that my father died. Now the power of attorney was considered good, and I was found in contempt of court for failure to appear and issued a warrant. Everyone knew I was gone. In subsequent court hearings, court custody was transferred to my abusive ex-husband. I was ordered to pay child support for the child that was with me, and a federal warrant was issued for non-transferal of the child because I didn't even know a court hearing had taken place since I was in Europe. The court issued a decree stating that I owe my ex-husband's attorney's fees, child support for my daughter, and about $80,000 in fees that my ex-husband didn't even need to prove that he said he spent searching for us. About $120,000 total. The federal court allowed me to send a file to be presented in court by my attorney Merlin Shiverdecker. This was the first court that looked at my evidence rather than dismissing it with more sanctions. The federal warrant was lifted. This is when I found out that I had a bench warrant for failure to appear nearly 8 years earlier. I sent the lawyer my parents had hired to try to lift this warrant. It was not successful, and therefore I sit in a prison without bars, stranded on the other side of the world. My daughter, when she turned 18, filed 2 lawsuits to try to rectify these problems to no avail. One was thrown out of court for res judicata, stating that as a child from 0 to 8 years old, she was a legal litigant in my divorce case and illegal post-divorce proceedings through domestic relations in juvenile court. The rationale was that I refused visitation and she was of like mind for not wanting to visit. Remember, I have proof for the 10 days. The other was thrown out, saying that federal court was the wrong court and that she could only sue in the local courts. Since she doesn't live in the USA, she cannot sue in the local courts, and since she is living abroad, she has no legal right to sue in the federal courts, just as President Obama had no rights when he was living abroad with his mother. A foreigner has more rights to sue in the U.S. courts than an expat living abroad. Thank you.